Okay, so what I want to show you guys is basically how we're going to be navigating Canvas while we're online. I showed you a bunch of stuff before, but I wanted to show you something just because I realized that there's been a lot of kids who have been getting onto Canvas and they do their assignments just by clicking on their grades so you can see things. That's really good to look at, what your grades are, of course, and also it's really good to see what comments are on your assignments. For example, there's sometimes I'll put on, not that. I didn't mean to click grades. If I make comments and I want you guys to redo something or add to it, then you need to look at your comments in the grading section. So for sure, it's a good idea to, look at that for that. But for when you're figuring out what to do for the day, you got to go to modules. So you click on modules and every unit is there. I would strongly recommend, I've told this to you guys a few times, but I don't know who I've told it to. I haven't told it to everybody in all my classes. So the little triangle next to the unit, if you click it, it'll close up that unit so that this will mostly impact you later on down the semester when we do things on Canvas. So if we are into like the 5th unit, but you have all the other ones closed, it'll take you, when you click on modules, it'll take you straight to the unit that we're on. So this is when we're on right now. We don't have everything on here right now. I am still working on something we're gonna do tomorrow. We're gonna do a test on the Industrial Revolution and Progressive Era tomorrow. So today we're going to do assignment and then we'll do an activity where we're kind of studying a little bit and talking about it. So one more thing I want to show you before we get into today's assignment is wherever it says a date and then a Zoom class, that is where I will record that class's Zoom session for the day. So as I click on it, you will see right now there is nothing here besides a question. After our Zoom class is over, I will post the video right here, and then you'll be able to watch the video and then answer the questions. So when you are absent, let's say that you were absent last week on the 21st, you would click on that day that you were absent. Here's the video of the PowerPoint that we went through, and you can hear everything that we talked about. And you would have to answer this question in order to get your points for that day. You guys know I give you points based off your participation and your behavior. So if you are absent to a day, you get 0 points unless you watch this video and answer the question. Most of the time, your question is going to be something that you literally have to watch the video the whole way through to figure out what it is. Also, you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff if you don't watch the videos. So even when we go back to in-person classes, I strongly would recommend this for you guys so that if you are absent on a day, you can still get those points and keep your grade. There's a lot of you guys who could have had, even a whole grade level up in your grade for first quarter if you had been doing this for all the days that you had been absent. It's that big of a deal. So anyways, that's what you do when you are absent. Watch those videos and answer the questions. So today we're going to continue talking about the progressive era. We've talked about what it means, the progressive era, making things better, fixing policies, making life better for a lot of people in all these different situations within race relations, with education, with women's rights, with alcohol, the prohibition movement, with living conditions, with working conditions. There's so many things that people try to make better. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be doing this Jacob Riis assignment. But what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to actually go to join.nearpod.com. You're going to open up a new tab. And you don't have to have your Zoom class open anymore. You're going to go to join.nearpod.com and you're going to type in this code, EQH9L. I'm going to put that in the chat so you guys can see that, so I can see when you guys join in. But you're going to go again to join.nearpod.com and you're going to click on the code. Oh, hold on a second. Hey, Alex, go ahead and get on the class, guys. Hey, what's up?
Wait, where's the code? What's the code?
Yes, I'm
What's
on.
the
Yeah, I'm
code?
in class right now.
All right, well, we can do this.
Oh,
Now. I want a little 15-minute rest.
EQH.
What's the code?
QH.
Oh.
Oh. How are you, Bill?
I'm so sorry, guys. I was trying to help Tamara get onto our class. So sorry. On my screen, you can see the code. I just put into the chat the website, join.nearpod.com, and the code. I put that into the chat. So if you do not see the code, then you need to look at the chat. Honey, can you go in the other room, please? Go out there so that mommy can do her class, okay?
Jacob Riis, how the other half lies.
Please. You need to go out there. Mom needs to do her class. So you can't watch that in here. If you're going to be in here, you have to pause it.
Jacob Riis, how the other half lies. Jacob Riis, how the other half lies.
That's so funny. It's like speaking it.
Jacob Riis, how the other half lies. Jacob Riis, how the other half lies.
Okay, so right now I want everybody to mute their speaker so that it won't be confused with all of the different things. Awesome. I think everybody is muted now. Oh,
Jacob
almost.
Riis, how the other half lies.
Lives. That's funny. Okay, is everybody on here? We see how many people do we've got? Lucia, Blix, Kareen, Kenyon, Moline, Michael, Redwind, Tyler. So got 8 of you. So wait, who are we missing then? Oh, okay. That was Alex who's in our class. Okay, so all right, we're good then. All right, so now that you guys are all ready to go, so we're going to talk about Jacob Riis. He wrote a book, or basically he put all of his photographs into a book with some writing about each of his pictures that he put in there. He wanted to help everybody know, and this is what we talked about last week. I kind of introduced it to you. He wanted to help everybody know about how people who are in poverty, who are homeless, or just living in horrible situations, how they actually live, so that the other half, you know, the rich half, can understand it and realize, wow, this is horrible. We need to do something to fix this. So real quick before we start this, there's a couple things I wanted to mention to you. Is at this period of time, we call this, instead of also the industrial age, we also call this the Gilded Age. Now, if something is gilded, it means it looks like it's gold, but really it's nasty on the inside. That's what gilded means. So this time frame we're talking about right now, the Gilded Age into the Progressive Age, it's really gilded in that it looks to be all great and awesome with all this, you know, bounds of of industry and manufacturing and all these cool things that we're making, but it really isn't that great underneath because of situations like the children in this photo that you see. Because, there was such a horrible, gross amount of people who were living and working in these horrible conditions that, yeah, the success of our country is doing great, but we have a bunch of people, thousands, millions of people who are living in poverty at the time. I think we just had Tamara. Yes, Tamara, go ahead and look in the chat, please, if you want to look in the chat, and you will see a website and a code. So go to the website and enter that code, and you'll be able to join us on our lesson today. So let's begin. Okay, so a tenement. What a tenement is basically it's a really small one-room windowless apartment. These are the types of buildings that a lot of the poor and especially the immigrants lived in. They usually stay with multiple families sharing the same tenement. Basically, tenement is like an apartment. If you think of looking at pictures of like the ghetto in big cities, that's what we're talking about. There would be a couple bathrooms per each building. It's very horrible. The lighting, air conditioning, that it's not that really there. They had lamps usually to light it, and you didn't have any windows, so you didn't have any fresh air. So answer this poll, please, if you haven't already. Let's see what you guys think. How likely are you to want to live in this place? So Tamir, go ahead and join us again real quick so you can be here with us. Open up the chat. If you can't find the chat, let me know. Go ahead, unmute and let me know if you cannot find it. Oh, I think Tamara just left us. Nope, she's still on. Never mind. It was Alex who left us. Okay, Malene, go ahead and answer that poll question real quick. There we go. And then Tamara, again, let me know if you can't find it. Go to the chat. You should be able to click more on the bottom of your Zoom screen and then click on chat. And then on the chat, you'll see the website to go to and then the code to join us with. Okay. So while she's joining us, let's move on. So a lot of you guys answered like, no, not really. You don't want to live in a such place. I don't blame you guys. I wouldn't want to either. Usually these tenements are places that basically those who are shunned by society, they are people who hardly make enough to even survive, really. Very little food. And sharing it with multiple families, I mean, you'd have 2 or 3 families within one tenement, or you would show or you would see so many different people from different backgrounds. You'd have lots of single people who would just live together. So let's go to the next one. So look at this picture for a minute. So in this picture, if you can read it, here's a picture of one of the tenements. It's very cramped. Things are stacked on top of each other. These people were very surprised. They weren't even really ready. Some people were laying there and, just kind of like, what? Just kind of groggily coming up. So what I want you guys to do is look at this picture, and you're going to answer a few questions about this picture. So there's 3 questions. I want you to write at least one sentence per question. You can click on the little picture to make it big again so you can look at it again. But go ahead and take a few minutes to answer each of these questions, at least one sentence per question. Okay, that's what you are going to do right now. At least one sentence per question. If you don't understand one of the questions, please let me know. Number 3 is to talk about like how could they just like get out of this specific tenement? How are they going to be like, how are we going to end these living conditions for people who can't afford better living conditions? How are we going to end it? Is it going to be a law? Is it going to be higher wages? What do you think we can do? I'll give you guys a couple more minutes to finish answering this. Think I got one more person needs to answer and then we can move on. Okay, so we've got everybody now that have answered. I'm going to share this one with you guys, this answer. So this person said that it's an overly crowded room. They appear to be sleeping on the ground. It's true. You know, they didn't have bed frames, you know, maybe just a mattress that they kind of roll up and roll down that they sleep on, and they have to bunk up because there's no room if you don't bunk up. It really does feel really small. If you picture like a typical bedroom, actually even just a little bit larger than a typical bedroom, if you'd have a tenement that's basically basically the size of a living room, you know, 16 by 16 ish room is about how big these tenements are. They were really small, and you had to do everything. That was your entire house basically. And then higher wages. I like this one because I wanted to relate that to today. In you know, one of the points that people want to change is they want to have higher wages for people, have a higher minimum wage, because in some states the minimum wage just isn't enough to take care of what they need to take care of. So, dog, be quiet, please. Yeah, be quiet, dog. Quiet. Sorry, guys. My dog is being annoying. Hang on a sec. Okay. Try to get my dog out of here. Okay, Tamara, I'll work with that on you in a second once I get everybody started with the next one. Okay. Here's this next picture that Jacob Riis took. There's an Italian mother. She is in her windowless one-room tenement, and all of their belongings are in this photo. This is all of their belongings. That's it. They have a rolled-up mattress, and the pallet on the left that likely is their bed. So we're going to basically do the same thing here. Same rules, at least one complete sentence per question. Remember what context means, you know, the whole picture, the background information. So go ahead and take a few minutes and answer these questions, at least one sentence per question. So everybody ignore me for a second. I'm just talking to Tamara here. You guys keep answering that question or those questions on there. Tamara, if you can hear me, go ahead and share your screen with me so I can see what you're seeing, so I can help you get on there. Should be on the bottom, should say share screens. Okay, while that last person is still typing their answer, go ahead and keep typing to do that. I'm going to share this answer with you guys, particularly at the third one. Now, I feel like I need to remind you guys a little bit about what context is. So when you're looking at an event, you have to know what's been going on before this, not just in their own personal life, but also in the country. So let's think of it this way. The industrial age brought a lot of people over here, right? A lot of immigrants over here because they wanted to work in the factories. So she's probably one of many immigrants who are trying to start a new life. That's why I liked this person's third answer. They brought very little things because they're starting over. They're an immigrant, so they're being treated horribly because immigrants really were. There's this idea that's called nativism, and what nativism is basically this dislike of anybody who is not native to this country. Now, that's not meaning Native American, but anybody who wasn't born in this country is someone, who they considered not native to the country. Native means like they were from here, right? It was, that's basically what it means. They're from here. So through this idea of nativism, anybody who was an immigrant is someone who has to be looked down on, someone who is thought of as taking jobs, or they're just coming here just to, take advantage of our healthcare system, or just so they can have no taxes, or, whatever people's complaints are, regardless of them being true or not, because yes, they do have to pay taxes when they have a job, but some people don't think they do. We have the same things going on today. I don't know if you've noticed so much, but especially in the last election and in this election as well, there's people who talk about immigrants and how immigrants are treated. Just a few weeks ago, we talked about how there was a case where a whistleblower said that women immigrants were being sterilized, meaning they could not have any more kids. So, the treatment of immigrants and the perception of immigrants has never really gotten that much better. It's gotten a little bit better, but, it's still an issue. And that's what nativism is all about. And so that's why I like this one, because, it's looking at the actual context of what is actually going on. Immigrants are pouring in. There's not enough space for them all. They have to be crammed in here. They're living in the cities rather than the country because that's where the jobs are at the cities. So that's why they built these huge tenements in the cities. That's why immigrants are packed to the cities. It's also something that we called urbanization. Urban meaning city. Industrialization caused urbanization to happen, which is basically the building of all these cities, because everybody's moving to the cities. That's where the factories are. That's where the jobs are at. And that's where they that's where they have to go to get what they need. So let's see if we have, okay, good. We have answers for everybody now. All right, so here's the third one. Reese took this picture. He reported that he paid 10 cents to this man to sit in front of this shack. It's not colored, but what we can see, cardboard, wood, sometimes tin sheets that they find lying around. A lot of the things that people made, these little buildings, these little shacks, is they make it out of just anything they can find at construction sites or anything that's just laying around there. So this is on Mulberry Street, which is one of the most dangerous areas of the neighborhoods of New York City. It's basically the slums. It's where there's a lot of crime. There's a lot of disease. It's really populated. There's a lot of people who are considered undesirables in this area because they don't have very good jobs. And when you don't have very good jobs, you can become desperate. And when you're desperate, then you're willing to cross lines that you shouldn't actually cross. So answering these three questions, go ahead and take a few minutes to answer these three questions. And, really think about it, especially the third one. So take a few minutes and answer these questions. What you're going to do is you're going to have to go into this assignment and just kind of skip ahead till you get to this one. And because I have your guys' answers already recorded for the ones we've already answered. So this right here is where it says Italian comes at the bottom, that part at the bottom. That's what he said. My summary of it is at the top. So you're going to read that, and then you'll answer the questions for that. And then you're going to be drawing what you think is the worst thing about living in these tenements. And then there's going to be one last thing where you are going to collaborate and just put ideas into here. So that's the last thing that you're going to do. So if you guys could all go back to the Zoom video real quick. I'm actually, go back to the Zoom video. You can exit out of the Nearpod thing that we're doing, because I'm gonna have you guys finish it on your own. So is everybody on there, right? Everybody back to seeing what I am showing you on my Zoom screen?
Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. All right. If anybody is not there, make sure you get back there to the Zoom screen. So where it says Jacob Riis photos, you're going to click on that. And then that's where you're going to, the lesson is basically right here. I have your answers that you've already recorded. So the ones that you've already done, you can skip it. If it doesn't let you skip it, just put in like a little dot or something and then go to the next one. Okay. So finish that up. We didn't have quite enough time. I think it was just too much technical delays today, and that's okay. So finish that up today. And then this is the study game. Does not cost any points, but this is the study game to help you for the test tomorrow. This is all stuff that we've talked about before. You're going to download this file. When it comes up, it's going to come up as a PowerPoint. When you open the PowerPoint, you need to make sure to put it in present mode. Do you guys see my Jeopardy game right here now? Anybody? You guys see it, right?
I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Okay, let me do this then. Okay, now do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, I didn't know if I need to switch it. So anyways, real quick before you go, you have to put it into slide mode so that you can actually click on things so it can open it up, and then, it gives you the answer, and then you can go through. And this is just a study guide just to help you just to make sure that you are ready for the test tomorrow, which will include these things and a few others that we've talked about. But these are a lot of like the terms and stuff that we're going to be testing on tomorrow. So you're going to go through that, and then let me get back to here. So finish up the Jacob Riis photos assignment. There's a study game for tomorrow's test. This is something that's completely optional. I was going to give you guys a survey where if you wanted to fill it out, you could if you wanted to. It's just about what young people would want to do and what's important to them with this upcoming election. This is not mandatory. Even if you want to skip anything, you don't have to answer it. If you're like, oh, I don't want to answer this one, or I don't want to answer this one, or I don't want to answer this one, whatever, it is, you don't have to answer it. It's just an optional thing. So we can see what kids prefer. It's just a study that you can do. This is optional. This is optional. This is required. Okay, any questions for me?
No, I think I got it.
No.
Okay, if you have no questions,